I've been part of the Tibetan Buddhist tradition since I was in college and met a Tibetan Buddhist teacher many years ago. And so it's been a wonderful influence in my life, and I really enjoy sharing it as much as I can, the teachings from our tradition with others. And in the Tibetan Buddhism, there's a very strong tradition of spiritual practice as a foundation for healing. So of course they use herbs, and they use some kind of similar to acupuncture techniques, moxibustion with the heat on the needles. But they really consider the most important is the spiritual practice. And there's even 7 different healing Buddhas, and then there's a mantra that one can learn for that to really help heal. So today we're going to just start with some simple practices that help us to meditate, because meditation is really one of the most important ways of getting in touch with our inner wisdom, which then helps to us to be able to act with compassion. And as many of the other speakers have said, that's kind of one of the key factors of spiritual wellness is getting in touch with our inner strength, and then offering what we can, what our gifts are to the world. So there's this cycle of giving that's very important. So there's a few slides we have to look at, and then we're going to do a few different practices that help us to relax in order to be able to meditate more easily. So these are the key practices for finding spiritual wellness. And the 2 kind of basic aspects of this are developing wisdom and compassion. So we could go on to the next slide. Great, thank you. So wisdom is when we can listen to the teachings, we reflect on them, and most importantly is when we can meditate on them. And that is just a way for us to really internalize and get in touch with our deepest inner self, which has a very powerful way of cleansing and healing our psyche, our minds, and that in turn helps our bodies to relax, and that in turn helps us to heal. So meditation is very important, and it helps us to see the insubstantiality of our physical world. We sometimes get so involved and think that this body is real, and our problems are real, and the problems in the world are very real. But sometimes if we can kind of take a step back and just have a little bit of a different perspective, we see that this is all just like an illusion. All of the dramas of our lives are really like an illusion or like a dream, and that we don't have to necessarily follow them and believe in them and play along with them. Of course, we have to care for our families and care for ourselves, our bodies. There's some physical realities, of course, we have to do, but we don't have to be so caught up and so attached, to those realities. We can kind of open up our awareness and have a little bit of space between the drama of life and our kind of deep inner wisdom. The next slide, please. So when we have that perspective, it allows us to act with more compassion. And so compassion is caring for the suffering of others, and doing what we can to alleviate it. So as Adolfo mentioned, it's that wonderful quote from Pablo Picasso. It's like taking the gifts that we have, that we've been given, and then sharing those with the world. So I'm an artist, so for me it means, creating beautiful works of art as much as I can. For someone like Sashin, who's a wonderful doctor, it's like, giving healing practices to people. And so it's whatever gift we have, and it's just sharing it as openly as we can. Sometimes I like to think about it as like a fruit tree, maybe apple tree. Its nature is just to, bear fruit and make the fruit available to those that are hungry. And so if we can look at it like that, we don't have to maybe be so attached to our ego, or worry about, oh, what do people think of me, or am I giving correctly? But we're just giving, as much as we can. We just give with our life, our gifts, and share our gifts. So that's my view of what compassion means and how it can help to heal us. So let's go to the next slide, please. So this is a mantra. In the Tibetan tradition, there's many different mantras. And this is the mantra for Shakyamuni, who lived in India about 2,500 years ago. And this is a beautiful statue of him, which is located in the stupa at Bodh Gaya, which is the place where the Buddha became enlightened. So this is a mantra you can practice on your own if you'd like. It's Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Shakyamuni Ye Soha. And if you'd like, and this one helps us to develop our wisdom. And if you'd like to practice mantras, you can go on YouTube and find many wonderful of the Tibetan mantras, and you can find this one being chanted, and sometimes they have beautiful music with them. So I recommend that. But today we're going to do just very simple Om Ahom mantra. Next slide, please. So practice. One nice thing to do is to develop our wisdom and compassion is to do some meditation each day, and then also maybe write in a journal or do some reflection on your kind of getting in touch with your inner strength and how you want to share that with the world. So these are things that can make a big difference. And even if you can only find like 10 minutes, 10 minutes of meditation is actually quite powerful, because for some reason, and we can go into it, but it's an integration of your rational mind and your unconscious mind, your body, your mind, and your spirit. There's an integration that happens when we meditate, even if we don't think we're doing it right or well. We have lots of thoughts or whatever, but at least we've sat there silently and with an attempt to focus our minds. And it has a very strong power to it. Sometimes they talk about like putting a drop of ink in a bowl of water. It can transform the color of the water completely, even just one little drop. So in the same way, even meditating for a short period of time each day can really help transform our consciousness, our awareness, and make a big difference in our life. So now we're going to actually do a few practices that can help us to meditate a little more easily. And this slide has some resources for classes that you might be interested in taking, especially now with COVID. We have a lot of offerings online. So please, check those out, and perhaps Sachin and Song can send these links to people afterwards so that you can follow up if you'd like. So now we're going to do a couple of standing exercises. So the first one is Tibetan yoga called kumne. And this particular exercise is called flying. So if you have the space where you are, go ahead and stand up. And you want to have your hands by your sides, palms facing your body. And we're going to just very slowly lift our arms up. And you can almost imagine as though they're floating up by themselves. You're not making a big effort. You're just letting your arms float up. You want to keep your palms facing outward. Backs of the hands come together overhead. And then give a nice stretch up towards the sky, towards the ceiling. Feel your feet firmly planted on the ground. Take a deep breath and slowly let it out as the arms slowly come back down to your sides. And this is a nice exercise because when you're working with your arms, you're kind of in touch with the heart chakra and you're opening your heart chakra. And that's important for compassion. It also helps relieve tension in your shoulders and neck, especially if you do a lot of computer work. So let's go ahead and do this 2 more times. Slowly lifting the arms. And let your breathing become nice and deep and calm. And once the arms are overhead, give a nice stretch up towards the sky. Feet really planted on the earth so you can feel a nice stretch through the whole spine. Take in a nice deep breath and then slowly let it out as your arms slowly come down to your sides. And one final time, arms floating up from your sides. If you'd like, you can imagine yourself as a bird flying through the sky, free from the confines of gravity holding you to the earth and all your problems. Just rising above all your problems and worries. Nice stretch up towards the sky. Deep breath into the belly and opening the chest. And slowly let the arms come back down to your sides. If you like, you can just kind of shake out a little bit, let go of any tension you might have in your neck, your shoulders, your chest, your arms, your legs. Shake out. Let all your muscles kind of relax and fall into their natural alignment. So next we're going to do what's called slow walking. And this is a part of a lot of the Buddhist traditions. A lot of the monks in Southeast Asia do this practice. So you're going to just have your feet at least hip distance apart, because when you're walking this slow, you can lose your balance a little bit. And if you have room to walk around in a little circle, that's nice. But if you don't, you can just do it in place too, walk in place. So you want to first lift one foot, maybe your right foot first, and then set down heel, and then the ball of the foot, and then the toe. And then lift the heel, ball, toe of your left foot, and then set it down, heel, ball, toe. So that's just an example of the speed at which we're walking. So it's very slow. And I think I'm just going to walk in place so that you can hear me a little better. So we're going to just continue this slow walking, heel, ball, toe, and heel, ball, toe, the next foot. And as we do this walking practice, we want to let our senses be really open and relaxed so that we can start first with the eyes and just let our gaze be kind of gentle and open so that we can see the colors and the shapes around us. But we're not too concerned with what the objects mean or what their relationship with us is. We're just kind of appreciating the fact that we have this wonderful sense of sight that allows us to experience our world in such a wonderful way, see the beauty of all the creations of the world. And we can also focus on our hearing so that we can hear all the subtle sounds that are going on in our world. There might be some birds singing in the background, maybe some traffic. That's okay. We can accept that as part of life, maybe part of the beauty of life. Almost think of it as music. Maybe we have some kids squawking in the background. That can also be seen as part of the beautiful music of life if we can kind of open our senses and relax and just take in what's coming without judging it too much, thinking about it too much. And same with our sense of smell. We can be aware of any subtle scents that there are in our environment. And also our sense of taste. We may not be aware of that usually, except when we're eating or drinking something, but there's kind of a subtle scent or sense of taste in the mouth that's just there naturally, the kind of natural pH of the body. We can be aware of what that's like. And then finally, our sense of touch. We have that throughout our whole body, through our skin. So you might be aware of the cloth of the clothing you're wearing rubbing against your skin as you move. You might be aware of the breeze in the room, just the movement of air on your skin. And again, just being very open and sensitive to what sensations are coming in through our sense of touch. And just appreciating it. It's the one way we can experience our world, when we hug our children or our parents, we've got the wonderful sensation of feelings that we have for our loved one, our spouses. So again, this sense of feeling that we have is a really wonderful way that we have of experiencing our world. So as we've kind of slowed down with the slow walking, we've also kind of gotten in touch with all the wonderful aspects of our senses and how they can really heal us and relax us. This is some nice training we can think of and practice to kind of decompress. Sometimes our senses are just kind of bombarded by the internet or TV, with the images we see and the sounds we hear. So this is a way to just let the senses of the body relax and move into a different realm for us, a realm that relaxes us and soothes us and nurtures us rather than bombarding us. So let's go ahead and sit back down and we're going to do one more practice. And this is a practice that involves chanting and gestures. So in Tibetan, we call this mudras. That may be a Sanskrit word, so some of you are probably familiar with that. So we're going to start with our hands on our knees. Sorry, you can't quite see me. Adjust this a little bit so you can see a little better. So hands on the knees for Om, and then hands in the lap for Ah, which is the left hand under the right, Om Ah, and then for Hum, our hands are outstretched in a gesture of giving. So the first two are gestures of meditation, and then the last is a gesture of giving. And we're going to be chanting Om Ah Hum. So these are called seed syllables or mantras, and they kind of have a way of kind of compressing the energy of the universe into these sounds. And also just chanting is a very nice way of calming the body and the mind. Our breath, it connects with our breath and our voice. And it's especially modern day Western people that are very stressed out. Mantra can be really helpful for calming the mind and helping us to get ready for meditation. So we're going to chant just 3 times Om Ah Hum, and then we're going to sit silently. And I'll guide us a little bit at the beginning of the meditation, and then we'll just have a few minutes of silent meditation. Om Ah Hum. Om Ah Hum. Om Ah Hum. So let's just sit with either our hands on our knees, or you could, if you prefer, your hands in your lap with the left under the right. And you want your back to be straight as possible. And if you're sitting in a chair, which you probably are, you can just have your feet planted firmly on the ground. You don't want to necessarily have your legs crossed or feet crossed. Just have your feet firmly on the ground, giving you kind of a nice solid base of support for your body. And if you'd like, you can tuck your chin in slightly. That helps straighten the back of the neck. That helps give the back spine a nice straight position. And so this is a really nice position for meditating. Or if you prefer, you can sit on the floor, on a cushion, cross-legged. And when we meditate, we want our breathing to be as deep and as calm as possible. So nice deep breaths into the belly. And you can think of breathing in nice, fresh, clean energy, and breathing out any stale air, any stale thoughts, any worries, any fears. So breathing in life, breathing out fear, worry, confusion, any negative qualities. And if you'd like, you can either close your eyes or have your eyes focused on the ground about 3 feet in front of you, and just a very gentle kind of open gaze. So we'll just meditate for a short time, giving you a chance to just taste the beautiful taste of relaxation in your mind and your body. And if you'd like, you can curl your tongue so that the tip touches the top of the palate. And that allows you to breathe evenly through your nose and mouth at the same time. Okay, so then to conclude our meditation practice, we're going to chant Om Ahum once more. And as we do this, let's dedicate the benefit of our practice to all beings, all sentient beings. The Tibetans talk about all sentient beings. That means not only human beings, but all of the beings in the animal realm as well, insects included. And this is a way of just kind of letting go, so we're not grasping onto the benefit of this for ourselves, for our egos, but we're just, whatever benefit has come from this practice, we just want to generously give it. Om.